A very good afternoon. It is 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and this is the Ambassador with me, Ambassador Susan Nganga, and here is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. We begin in Somalia, where a deadly attack on a high-security prison in Mogadishu has left 7 Al-Shabaab militants dead. Government forces say they thwarted an attempted prison break after hours of intense gunfire and explosions near the presidential palace. Let's take a listen. Gunfire and explosions rocked Mogadishu on Sunday evening when Al-Shabaab militants launched a coordinated assault on the Godgajilakau prison, one of the country's most fortified detention centers located near the presidential palace. The attack began with a suicide car bomb, followed by gunmen disguised in military uniforms who tried to storm the facility. According to Somali authorities, 7 militants were killed in the ensuing firefight as government forces fought to regain control. Officials say no civilians or security officers were killed and no prisoners managed to escape.
Russian, and we get some calls from the community. They tell us that there has been an explosion and cross-attack in Chilero. Then we reached there, we have seen a lot of people get injured. There was too much, but almost the Amin Ambras collected and transported and helped almost 25 patients.
Witnesses say the siege lasted near 6 hours, with heavy gunfire echoing across the capital. Hospitals nearby reported treating more than 24 people for injuries sustained during the chaos. The Al-Qaeda-linked group Al-Shabaab later claimed responsibility for the attack, part of its ongoing campaign to destabilize Somalia's central government. Authorities have since tightened security across Mogadishu, calling the assault a desperate act by militants under growing military pressure. And now on to agriculture. In beekeeping is one of the hazardous activities to do, but 200 kilometers northwest is of Ankara, Turkey. A 22-year-old Zulea slips into her cannery. She studies the frames for honey levels, checks for the queen's presence, and scans for any sign of disease, tasks that require patience, skills, and careful observation. It is one of the most interesting stories of passion and courage, coated with thick layers of resilience, as Davis Karani now reports.
Beekeeping offers an alternative path. It requires little land and relatively modest investment while offering flexible hours. Furthermore, demand for honey and related products remains strong. Indus, the prized local Yilga bee, known for its resilience and ability to produce high-quality honey, makes the sector's outlook even more brighter. Ezra Uzun, Director of Agriculture and Forestry of Daz Province, says they provide beekeepers with training to strengthen their entrepreneurial skills for rural development, improve their marketing ability, and understand the importance of branding, particularly agricultural branding. They also provide an open market for bee products across the continent.
En başta gelen unsuru bu. Sonra doğal olarak risk var.
Şu ülkeler arası yani aynen. Siz öyle bir şey diye düşünmeyin yani Türkiye'de
gitsin Doğru ne gidiyor diye oraya gidiyor.
İşte şeyde falan da yakın.
Nazara karşı. Evet. However, the climate crisis is reshaping rainfall patterns and season cyclones, affecting bee health and honey yields. Turkey became a member of Food Authority Organization in 1948 and established its first country office in 1982. FAO supports the government and partners. FAO supports the government and partners in the development of policy and programs primarily focused on strengthening the resilience of the disadvantaged communities, supporting sustainable and inclusive agri-food systems. Davis Karani for GBS News.
And now we shift the focus to Mexico, where President Claudia is marking 1 year in office, a year defined by bold reforms, economic ambitions, and diplomatic tests. With an approval rate topping 70%, the president has overseen historic judicial election, launched a Plan Mexico economic blueprint, and navigated tense trade talks with U.S. President Donald Trump. Let's hear the full reports.
She wanted the party and she got it. Claudia Sheinbaum celebrating her first year in charge of Mexico and historically high approval rates of almost 80%. Mexico's main plaza, the Zocalo, was full. Music mariachi before she spoke. She put her success down to continuing and expanding Mexico's social programs.
Ahora somos.
Now, we are the second least unequal country on the continent, only after Canada. The economic model is completely different, summed up in the humanist phrase, for the good of all, the poor come first.
Poverty is down. Government aid like pensions and free meals have helped keep people like Ignacia and on the outskirts of Mexico City afloat.
Honestly, she has helped us a lot with our pension, and she increased it too. And also with the water trucks. When she came, she promised us that we wouldn't be left without water, and we haven't been. So for us, she's a person who has really delivered.
8 million people were pulled out of poverty between 2022 and 2024. Claudia also, so far, has been able to manage the demanding neighbor to the north, President Trump, and his threats of tariffs and to send the U.S. military into Mexico.
President of Mexico, wonderful woman.
She's been able to deal with the Trump administration in a firm but deft way, sort of like pushing back against the more militaristic impulses of the Trump administration while standing on her ground about what Mexico is willing to do.
But it's not all good news. Mexico's murder rate has gone down, but cartels are still all-powerful in some parts of the country.
We've seen that criminal organizations have tightened their grip in the states and in the communities where they operate.
The president has also sown seeds that might later reap a bitter harvest, especially by pushing through the election of all the country's judges by popular vote, a move that lowered the bar for judicial qualifications and seen sympathizers of the Sheinbaum party take up key positions. This is not just a powerful president, but a powerful one. How she wield that power over the next 5 years of her term could be crucial in a country still only a quarter of a century into democracy. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul M. Minor.
And Paul's story will take us to a very fast break here. GBS News at 1, where we debunk more global diplomacy and geopolitics.
The best thing is that you can make something for yourself. May I just say that? Like, you can just let your mind be creative. You're not limiting it, and you create something, and every time I make something, I just look at it and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
No, I just be like that. Yes.
And what do you think is required for someone to make it in the fashion industry? So umekuja na mapochopocho. You've come with like really amazing things. Utatuanzia na anza from the front ukikuja to the back.
Okay. That is something, when you look at it like this, you'll have to sit down and figure it out. Like, how did this person make this wallet? You see, this is art. You can also create yarn from like t-shirts. Yes. So that's what I'm trying to change. I want to create sustainable fashion where you don't have to go and buy yarn to crochet. You can just create yarn at your space, or you can go and thrift clothes, clothes made of yarn.
Yeah.
yako kwa njia sahihi kwa GBS Jumatatu.
Niko nawe hadi mida ya saa 4 asubuhi. Kwanza niseme asante kwa kuzidi kufuatilia na kutazama vipindi vyetu ambavyo huwa tunakuandalia hapa ndani ya GBS TV Jumatatu. People are now seeing the money that have been given to church as a bribe.
Jiunge nasi kila Jumatatu asubuhi kuanzia saa 1:30.
Nimesikia mwenzangu akifanya hesabu hapo ya vile ambavyo miungano zitakuwa. Ruto is going to fail whether with Raila or without Raila.
Kuna mahali anakosea akisema ati Raila na Ruto wataungana. Hakuna kuungana iko hapo, ndugu yangu, aje nikwambie ukweli.
Hadithi za kunoga.
Ukiangalia Wakenya, wananchi wa Kenya, pia hao maisha yao imedhulumiwa kwa kuongezwa kwa taxes, ziko very high taxes. So the statement by Rigathi Gachagua is just statement ya kumcheck that we can see you we can see between the lines.
Na mazungumzo yenye nguvu ya kukuletea utulivu kwa wiki yako.
Ati Raila ataingia UDA.
Hiyo ni ndoto. Mimi yote nasema sababu nasema hivi mheshimiwa, ikiwa Raila
itakuwa, mimi naona itakuwa
hadi saa 4 za asubuhi kwa majadiliano ya kusisimua.
Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Ruto ajue ya kwamba sasa yeye ni president wa Kenya. Sio mambo ya kufanyia wana Kenya mzaha. Kupoteza biashara kwa siku moja katika CPD, nafikiria ni jambo ambalo ni rahisi.
Usikose, ingia kwenye GBS TV. Anza Jumatatu yako kwa kusudi.
If the government does not spend, my brother, hakuna maendeleo inaonekana, hakuna barabara zinatengenezwa, hakuna dawa kwa hospitali, my friend, economies will not grow.
Tuonane panapo majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu.
GBS Jumatatu, palipo mjadala wa leo na mwelekeo wa kesho.
SK the DJ hapa aka the Mix Wizard.
Nataka kurap, nataka kuimba,
nataka kudance.
Give me a chance, mini dreamer.
You're a COVID baby. COVID will give birth to you.
Yo lockdown kukaa ndani na my thoughts kulock in. Kanibadilisha.
Setback gani umeface like in the industry kutoka 2020, 5 years ago mpaka sasa?
The first one ilikuwa kujifunza kurap. Wase wa appreciate bars, wa appreciate lines. Like hii ni kitu tunatakingi time kuandika.
Sometimes na wonder ka God na exist juu life manzeni moto. Mbona unaacha your daughters and sons wa dedi kwa moto? I like to think through things before nifanye. Gani na make sense to me, see according to the rules. This song, it was like a personal prayer. And it was through the things I'm gonna face at that time. Mimi, I'm a versatile artist. First of all, I don't like to call myself a rapper. Neither do I call myself a singer. I call myself an artist or a musician. Napenda ku try out new things just to bring up kale ka vibe yenye unaweza sikiza, unaweza bambika na bado unaweza pata kitu from the song. Unaweza ku live a different person after umesikiza.
Jina ni Coach Martin Musili. I'm a coach, as I've stated. E-sport nilitambua since 2015, 2016.
Kuna sports mingi man, but nili kutiga kwa fencing.
Kwa e-sport kuna kitele, kuna pesa kweli.
In as much as tunaiplay, tunaitumia pia kama life skills. Si shule peke yake, pia corporates. Na tunakuja tunafunza strategic thinking. It can create an avenue for a scholarship. If maybe anacheza shule, a scholarship. Maybe anaweza advertise ile corporate.
Nini imekukeep kwa game, like ni strategy gani unatumia, like unafeel strategy ndio imenyekanga hapa, unafeel kupeleka mbali. Alafu utaniambia ni strategy gani imekumake unatumia as a player, ona ndio strategy yangu inafanyanga na win game. Hata as a coach, ni strategy gani unaonanga hii nikitumia nasaidia player wangu kudefeat opponent wake. Requirements zangu ni nini? Nini nataka kwa fencer? What are the requirements?
All you have to be, as long as you can walk, You can move your arms and you can think on your feet. You can fence.
Ili kujua mengi, jiunge nami Omala Brian kwenye GBS TV Sports Sugu Show. This is where passion meets the game.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin, and now, in a remarkable moment for history and heritage, Egypt has reopened one of its most treasured archaeological sites, the tomb of Pharaoh Ramses II, after more than 2 decades of extensive restoration. The reopening marks a new chapter in the preservation of ancient Egyptian civilization. After 20 long years of meticulous renovations, the Valley of the Kings in Luxor is once again welcoming visitors to one of its most iconic tombs, the resting place of Pharaoh Ramses II, often hailed as Ramses the Great. The restoration, led by Egypt's Supreme Councils of Antiquities in collaboration with international experts, aimed to preserve intricate wall paintings, stabilize the tomb structure, and enhance the visitor experience, all while protecting the fragile art from the damage of time and tourism. Let's have a look.
The tomb of King Muhammad III was discovered in 1799, and then it was rediscovered again in 1915 by Howard Carter. The tomb, of course, was unfortunately discovered completely empty, so it was stolen before. Even the sarcophagus, only the lid of the sarcophagus is still there, and it was broken to several pieces, more than 200 pieces.
Tourism, we're doing well, and we continue our growth at the rate of 20%, 20 plus, and we expect this to continue till the end of the year. Thanks to the stability and the wisdom in managing and also positioning Egypt within this unrest around Egypt in general.
History has been made on the shores of Lagos, Nigeria, as the city becomes the first in Africa to host the E1 Powerboat Championship, a cutting-edge electric-powered boat racing series that's taking the world by storm. The E1 Championship, often described as the Formula One of the seas, brought together top racers from across the globe, each piloting high-speed, zero-emission race but boats video. With Lagos Lagoon transformed into a vibrant race circuit, the event showcased not only Nigeria's growing capacity to host world-class boating competition, but also its commitment to promoting clean and sustainable energy in sports. The event attracted thousands of spectators, including government officials, international tourists, and local fans, who cheered as the boats reached speeds of up to 95 kilometers per hour.
Being in Lagos for Team Brazil is very important. It's the best result so far in the season, so it's amazing.
Incredibly important to us to bring a race to Africa. Obviously, Didier is one of our team owners, and he was very passionate about bringing the race. Enormous for us to bring, the technology, the sort of messages about sustainability that we're bringing to Africa, and to celebrate, honestly, like we are now, just a party. That's what we want to bring.
I think personally, it was a very good event. I think it was a way to show the strength and the extent in which Nigeria can bring together massive events like this, because we're the first African country to do this sort of thing, so it's really big for us.
And now to more sports news. Aston Villa claimed a narrow 2-1 win over Burnley in a thrilling Premier League clash. Daniel Malan struck twice to secure the victory for UNI's Emery side. Burnley fought back through a late goal but couldn't find an equalizer. The result marks Villa's fourth straight win in all competition. Burnley's struggles continue as they remain in the bottom three. Aston Villa came out strong and dominated possession early in the match. Marlon opened the scoring in the first half with a composed finish inside the box. The break, he struck again with a low drive to double Villa's lead. Burnley showed resilience, pulling one back through header in the 78th minute. The final stages were nervous for Villa as Burnley pushed for an equalizer. Martinez made a vital save in stoppage time to preserve the win. Villa's victory moved them closer to the European places as their momentum built. And that brings us to the end of our today's edition. I'm your ambassador, Susan Nganga, and this has been The Ambassador on GBS TV Africa. Stay with us for continuous updates throughout the day, and be sure to join me every Monday as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company. Have a good afternoon.
Everywhere, GBS.